Hey, you got that America 250 plaque? I had it, but it was some radical leftists came in and snatched it out. Well, they can't snatch it out of my hands because I'm a strong man. But they came. I was distracted. I tried to save a baby's life, and then I saw George Soros had paid them off in the parking lot, and then they went and did insurrection. You don't see that's because they went and fixed it. They went and fixed. They had some illegals. Shout out to all the subscribers and the members here on the channel. Don't forget to like the video. I am Reese Waters, and this is Street Politics. All right, Trump. We saw how badly things went when you went to talk to the army. And we saw how bad that speech went with the generals last week. So I knew when it was the Navy's 250th celebration that Trump was going to try something. And I'm telling you, what? The third time's the charm? Oh, like marriage? Huh. You know what? That's a good idea. Why don't you take Melania down there? You know, so just like a comfort piece. Y'all be looking extremely awkward. I'm better than that with all of my exes, and y'all still together. I don't understand that, but at least maybe she could take some of the heat off you.
Hoo-yah, Navy! Hoo-yah, Navy! Hoo-yah, Navy!
Did Michelle Obama tell her that was okay? Is that a Michelle Obama quote she using right there? Why it sound like Navy just came to her house unannounced? Who that is?
Hoo-yah.
Who that is?
Hoo-yah, Navy.
Navy? Is that Navy? Well, whatever you do, just make sure you on time. You know, these are military folks we talking about.
A few moments later. 20 minutes later. 1 eternity later.
Trump probably views being late as a flex or he's not well or something, but that audience learns in training it's a sign of lack of discipline and order. Where could he be? Where you got to be?
Mr. President, will the administration begin firing federal employees during this government shutdown?
That's taking place right now, and it's all because of the Democrats. The Democrats are causing the loss of a lot of jobs with their, it's a shutdown. It's their shutdown, not our shutdown. It's their shutdown.
Oh, he saw cameras. That's what it is. You know he can't stop when he see cameras. No. That's like me and now and laters. That's like Nicki Minaj and drama. That'd be like Marjorie Taylor Greene and racism. You know, we can't take it. And just in case you were wondering, he talked about the Democrats causing a loss of a lot of jobs. If you were wondering about his sincerity about that, keep listening.
Mr. President, will the administration begin firing federal employees during this government shutdown?
That's taking place right now, and it's all because of the Democrats. The Democrats are causing the loss of a lot of jobs with their, it's a shutdown. It's their shutdown, not our shutdown. It's their shutdown.
What agencies does
and I hope everybody likes what's the Presidential Walk of Fame. You know that? Have you seen it's beautiful, isn't it? Presidential Walk of Fame. Thank you very much. Again, congratulations to the Navy. They did a great job today. Thank you very much.
What agency?
I ain't seen nobody change the subject that quick since they asked him about Charlie Kirk. I guess we off the ballroom, huh? That's curious. That's curious. I would have gone back to the ballroom, you know, because it worked the first time so well.
Is it the White House's position that furloughed workers should be paid for their back pay?
I would say it depends on who we're talking about. I can tell you this, the Democrats have put a lot of people in great risk and jeopardy, but it really depends on who you're talking about. But for the most part, we're going to take care of our people. There are some people that really don't deserve to be taken care of, and we'll take care of them in a different way. Okay? Thank you.
Mr. President, you said there was an attack yesterday night in the Caribbean. Could you give more details about that?
My people will give you those details.
You don't know them details. We know you don't know them details. Who told them? My people, my people. I should have been using that in class when I didn't know the answer. Reese, my people will come to the board and get that report. They got it. They'll be here. What's his name? Big Balls. Trump. Do you take accountability for anything?
Absolutely not.
Literally anything. Like, do you dress yourself? And if people have something negative to say about what you wear, would you blame somebody else? I'm wondering, how far does this lack of accountability go? I'm trying to figure this out. Do you at least feel bad for the rats that lost their tails so that you could have that thing on your head?
Emotional damage.
Well, I disagree with that judge. I wasn't served well if they put judges like that on. I wasn't served well by the people that pick judges, I can tell you. Things like that are just too bad. I appointed the judge and he goes like that. So I wasn't served well. Obviously, I don't know the judge. But if he made that kind of a decision, Portland is burning to the ground. You have agitators, insurrectionists. All you have to do is look at the television, turn on your television, read your newspapers. It's burning to the ground. The governor, the mayor, the politicians are petrified for their lives.
Mr. President,
and you have a judge like that, he ought to be that judge ought to be ashamed of himself.
Now, you forgot to say what TV and what newspapers. You meant to say all you got to do is turn on Fox News and read New York Post. You got to be specific, because when you get outside of that echo chamber, Portland looks way different. But just so I'm clear, so this was a judge that you appointed, because Lord knows if somebody else appointed him, that would be the reason. This was a judge that you appointed, so now you were given bad advice. You were not well served by the people who picked the judges for you. So if you're not picking the judges, and if you have a finger to point with regards to literally everything, then I need to ask, what is your function? Huh? What is your function? You overplayed your hand. You overplayed your hand. If everything is somebody else, I'm going to need you to explain. Hey, I need 5 things that you did today, sir. I need 5 things that you did. Put Doge on top of it. I need 5 things that you did today. Matter of fact, give me 5 things that you did this year that you will take credit and accountability for.
Absolutely not.
Now, what he's referring to is the judge blocking Trump's National Guard deployment in Portland. By the way, for the second time, a federal judge has, for the second time in 2 days, blocked President Donald Trump from sending National Guard troops into Oregon, ruling that the administration appeared to defy her Saturday order that Trump lacked a legal basis for sending the military into Portland. U.S. District Judge Karen Emmergut said Sunday that the administration's effort to circumvent her original order, in part by deploying Guard troops from California and Texas, was in direct contravention of her earlier decision, which prohibited Trump from federalizing 200 members of Oregon's National Guard. Though Trump had claimed the military was needed to combat daily violence against federal immigration officials, Emmergut, a Trump appointee, concluded that Trump's assessment was untethered to facts and failed to satisfy the legal basis to federalize the state's National Guard troops. Judge, I got a question. So, if you feel like they intentionally went to defy your prior order, would that not be contempt of court? I feel like, because we would do time. You know what I mean? We would do time. Is that not contempt of court? It sounds like that's what you're saying, but you don't want to say it. So, you know, sound like you're a little scared. It sounds like contempt of court. As far as the untethered the facts, I love that nobody challenges how untethered the facts this is, but how we can just normalize a president moving untethered to facts. Like that's just buried in the article that the president's basis is untethered to facts. She called cap. She just yelled cap in the courtroom. She just yelled cap in the courtroom to the president's attorneys, and we just act like it's regular. We're at that point.
We're going to look at that. It was amazing. Portland is burning to the ground. It's insurrectionists all over the place. It's Antifa. And yet the politicians who are petrified. Look, the politicians are afraid for their lives. That's the only reason that they say, like, there's nothing happening. And you've seen it. The place is burning down, and they pretend like there's nothing happening. So we'll take a look at the order. We haven't seen the order yet.
And here's video taken 1 hour ago outside the Portland ICE facility of the violent insurrectionists in question.
Meanwhile,
in the coming days and weeks, we may be pushed, if not forced, to take even more dramatic action if this administration continues to escalate and provoke our people. In closing, last night I spoke with the governor, and he informed me that the Trump administration is deploying Texas National Guard to our city. We will speak to our response later today. We'll do that with the governor as well as the attorney general. For now, let me just say that we are unequivocally going to continue to reject the military occupation of our city. The Trump administration must end the war on Chicago.
Now let's go here. How is it that he made it this far when he lies like a fourth grader? He lies like a fourth grader. The man said the politicians are afraid for their lives. That's the only reason they say that there is nothing happening. So don't believe all of the video and the testimonials from citizens that are under no threat, that there's no issue there in Portland. The politicians are under an unseen, unspoken threat from the insurrectionists. And that's why they're saying what they're saying that they don't really mean. This the president that came in and said, this the president that came in and gave us that. They gave us, we about to celebrate a birthday in this country in 2026. And we gonna have a man out here talking like a fourth grader, lying like a fourth grader. You know what I mean? Like
250 years. So we're celebrating 250. I almost thought I wouldn't get to do that because I was president in 2016, and then they rigged the election on me. And then we caught him, didn't we? We caught him, but, you know, we had to run it again. I ran it again, and I got 250, and I got the World Cup, and I got the Olympics. Can you believe all of it?
Hey, you got that America 250 plaque? I had it, but it was some radical leftists came in and snatched it out. Well, they can't snatch it out of my hands because I'm a strong man. But they came. I was distracted. I tried to save a baby's life. And they distracted me, and they went and got the plaque. And then I saw George Soros had paid them off in the parking lot, and then they went and did insurrection all over the infield of the White House. You don't see, that's because they went and fixed it. They went and fixed, they had some illegals that were doing landscaping, And the illegals, they did the insurrection, and then the illegals came and cleaned up after them. That's why you don't see nothing. That's what happened to I think we need a new plaque. Oh, I see somebody finally made it to the Navy. That is one way to distract away from everything going on in Portland and a whole government shutdown. Now, I'm glad you decided to use the Navy's time to re-prosecute the election of 2020. You said they rigged the election on you again, accountability on negative. And then we caught them. You caught who? Who'd you catch? Who'd you catch? The only people I know that got caught was the people on your side that was trying to perpetrate this fraud. They've been paying settlements and all kind of stuff. So we just supposed to, oh, I forgot, because it's Trump. We just supposed to act like we don't know what we know. I think it. Hey, Trump, that didn't go over good. Why don't you go to one of your tried and trues? Why don't you try racism? That'd be good. Why don't you try racism?
A man that everybody loves. He was my doctor in the White House, and I got to know him very well. He was also the doctor for Barack Hussein Obama. Have you heard of him? And he was the doctor for a man named Bush. And at a press conference, they asked him, who's in the best shape? Who's the healthiest? Who's the strongest? Who's the best physical specimen of the three? He said, that's easy. President Donald Trump. And I said, I love this guy. I said, I love him.
Barack Hussein Obama, again, in 2025. Barack Hussein Obama. And then did the pause. Shawn Mans. Black MAGA. I ain't really. I just, you can't look worse, but somehow you manage to look worse. Every time he opens his mouth, somehow you manage to look worse. And now we're at the part where we're all supposed to believe that Donald Trump is in better shape than Barack Obama. Shout out to Mehdi Hassan for this. No sane person believes Donald Trump is in better shape than Barack Obama. No sane person talks about themselves like this in public. Note the racist jab at Obama. He can't stop being racist ever. But it gets overlooked because of the absurdity of what he's saying in general. Like, we're at a point where we just smile and nod at the president when we all knowingly accept the words that are coming out of his mouth are nonsense. About the president. We treating the president like I treat my friends' kids when they come in and just tell me outlandish stories. You know, we went with Daniel Tiger and Donald Duck on vacation last week on the back of a unicorn. That sounds nice. That sounds nice. My daddy sniffed the table and yelled, woo! Yeah.
Watch Osama bin Laden, and the fake news would never let me get away with that statement unless it was true. But I said 1 year before to Pete Hegseth, I said 1 year before, where's Pete? In the book, I wrote, whatever the hell the title, I can't tell you. But I can tell you there's a page in there devoted to the fact that I saw somebody named Osama bin Laden, and I didn't like it, and you got to take care of him. They didn't do it. A year later, he blew up the World Trade Center, so we got to take a little credit because nobody else is going to give it to me. You know the old story? They don't give you credit, just take it yourself. And it was the U.S. Navy that...
You can't remember the name of your book? You can't remember the name of your book? Do you remember the name of a book? How about that? Any book. Any book. You remember the name of a book? My favorite Trump quotes are the ones where you can go multiple choice on what's the worst part of this. How about the book published under your name in 2000 contains one glancing reference to bin Laden, and the reason you can't remember the name of the book is because a ghostwriter wrote it for him, Or how about the CIA began aggressively tracking bin Laden in 1995 and set up a whole unit called Alex Station in 96 that focused on him and Al-Qaeda. They were aware of him since the late 1980s.
That. And please remember, I wrote about Osama bin Laden exactly 1 year ago, 1 year before he blew up the World Trade Center. And I said, you got to watch Osama bin Laden. And the fake news would never let me get away with that statement unless it was true. But I said 1 year before to Pete Hegseth, I said 1 year before, where's Pete? In the book, I wrote, whatever the hell the title, I can't tell you. But I can tell you there's a page in there devoted to the fact that I saw somebody named Osama bin Laden, and I didn't like it, and you got to take care of him. And they didn't do it. A year later, he blew up the World Trade Center, so we got to take a little credit because nobody else is going to give it to me. You know the old story? They don't give you credit, just take it yourself.
I got it. So he treats credit just like pizza, like a pizza party. You just got to go in aggressive. And then if they tell you that's too much, you know, then you might have to give some back. But at least if you go in aggressive, then when they pull you back, you at least at a place where you got a good amount of pizza. That's how I got it. So credit is just something to be claimed. Again, untethered from facts. Got it. Okay. It doesn't belong to anybody. It's just credit, and whoever takes it, takes it.
Wrong.
You know, that would pretty much explain everything he said about Joe Biden and Barack Obama for the last 10 years.
Deployed a brand new unit, the Navy SEALs, to tear up Mekong River Delta. Problem with Vietnam, we stopped fighting to win. We would have won easy.
Trump. Yeah, who's we? Who's we? No, because you said the problem with Vietnam, we stopped fighting to win. Who's we? You was at the crib, player. So yeah, that ain't a we thing. That's a y'all thing. That ain't a we. Or you just want to claim, you just want to take credit. Is that, That sounds like stolen valor to me. MAGA, y'all on the stolen valor? No, oh, y'all don't see right-wing stolen valor. Don't. Okay. That would make sense. I'm just glad we came to an understanding about that.
Deployed a brand new unit, the Navy SEALs, to tear up Mekong River Delta. Problem with Vietnam, we stopped fighting to win. We would have won easy. We would have won Afghanistan easy. Would have won every war easy. But we got politically correct. Let's take it easy. We're not politically correct anymore, just so you understand. We win. Now we win.
Trump literally handed Afghanistan back to the Taliban, freed thousands of their terrorists as part of the deal. We would have won Afghanistan easy. A reminder, it was the Trump administration that signed a deal on February 29, 2020 with the Taliban to fully withdraw from Afghanistan. So did the Trump administration become politically correct per the president's words? They must have, because ain't no other reason to keep him there. You know what I mean? There ain't no other reason to keep him there. They must have got some sort of situation. You know, you got to go through layers to let people go and whatnot. It's kind of one of those unfireable positions. So I would say yes.
Thank you, Pete. Doing a job. I said, Pete, what do you think? You know, we used to call it Secretary of War, the Department of War, the War Department. Now we call it Defense. And I don't know, would you ever want to, we won World War I. We won World War II. We won everything in between. We won everything before. And all of a sudden they decide to change the name. They went woke then too, Woke is a long-term word. I said, what do you think about changing it to the Department of War? He said, I love it, sir. And that was about the end of it, right?
Now, you said we won everything before, right? We won everything before. What, like the Revolutionary War? No, I know about War of 1812, French and Indian War, all that kind of stuff. Them burning the Capitol. Nah, we gonna let out. No, I'm not here for that part. We know about that part. I'm here for this part. Can you tell us about the Revolutionary War again? No, chill. No, I just want to hear. I just want to hear about airports. Yeah, Trump. We won everything before. Can you tell us about the Revolutionary War again?
Our army manned the airport. It ran the ramparts. It took over the airports. It did everything it had to do. And at Fort McHenry, under the rocket's red glare, it had nothing but victory.
I told that. Oh, I think he was watching a Ken Burns documentary, and somebody changed the channel to Con Air, and he just thought it was still the Ken Burns documentary. I think he was just, yeah. I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
But wait, there's more.
Now, one thing that we saw when Trump talked to the generals, we didn't necessarily see it at the Army because he was so down bad at the Army that he barely wanted to be seen there at all. But one thing we saw with the generals is a very aggressive push to politicize the military. And in this moment, one that is a celebration of the Navy, at a time when he would tell you that it's about the Navy, he's not making about himself, although we know very different. But try to beat the allegation that you made this about yourself when you say this.
I thank a group of women from North Carolina. Look at these great. Will you stand up, please? These beautiful women have followed me. This is number 151. You could call a rally. This is sort of a rally. Let's face it. This is a rally.
This is a rally. This is a rally about the Navy's 250th celebration. Now, for all those that have served in the military, for all those that are in the military, I just want to note the degradation and bastardization of the standards that have been upheld for hundreds of years about the military being broken by Trump because he wants his ego uplifted at all times. But that would be taking the best possible, that's the best possible take on this. There's another way that I could take this as well.
But we have to take care of this little gnat that's on our shoulder called the Democrats. They want to give all of our money to illegal aliens that pour into the country. And, I have a bigger heart than they do. But the problem is when you do that, they come in by the millions. Everybody wants that, so you can't do it. But I've also pledged the largest ever investment in our military's history. We're spending over $1 trillion. We've never had anything like that before. $1 trillion on our military, and that includes, along with your Secretary of the Navy and Pete Hegseth, we're going to be building lots of ships and doing a lot of things that you haven't seen happen for 35 years.
That's right, a little gnat on our shoulders called the Democrats that we need to take care of while he addresses the United States military. Now, one of the things that Trump apologists would love to say, because Trump would never say, because he makes sure that to never give full context to what he's saying so that he could say the terrible thing, but never have to fall back from the terrible thing. Now, one of the things that the Trump apologists would say was it's a turn of phrase, or he's talking about, okay, fair enough. Is this y'all at the same time as he's talking to the military about taking care of a gnat called the Democrats and calling it a rally? This y'all? This evening, President Trump is ordering 400 members of the Texas National Guard for deployments to Illinois, Oregon, and other locations within the United States. No officials from the federal government called me directly to discuss or coordinate. We must now start calling this what it is, Trump's invasion. It started with federal agents. It will soon include deploying federalized members of the Illinois National Guard against our wishes, and it will now involve sending in another state's military troops. I call on Governor Abbott to immediately withdraw any support for this decision and refuse to coordinate. There's no reason a president should send military troops into a sovereign state without their knowledge, consent, or cooperation. The brave men and women who serve our National Guard must not be used as political props. This is a moment where every American must speak up to help stop this madness. That from Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker. The federal government is seizing control of a southern state's military to invade northern states. It's almost like we're doing the Civil War again. Oh, did somebody say Civil War? Congressman Randy Fine. We're getting awfully close to 1861. Now, my entire life, this kind of talk has always been theoretical because the understanding was that the checks and balances would hold and that people would stand up and do their duty in order to protect the Constitution. I'm sorry, did I say all of my life? You know, up through the last decade. Because we heard from Governor Abbott. I fully authorized the president to call up 400 members of the Texas National Guard to ensure safety for federal officials. You can either fully enforce protection for federal employees or get out of the way and let Texas Guard do it. No guard can match the training, skill, and expertise of the Texas National Guard. We defend our country with pride. America must also know that Texas still has thousands of National Guard assisting with the border security. Did somebody say something about states' rights? Huh? Did somebody say something about states' rights? And state sovereignty? Leave it to the states. Oh, yeah, we come back around to this point about a couple of times a month. And we've reached our first one for October. That MAGA and the Conservative Party isn't actually about anything.
Did Governor Greg Abbott just declare war on both Illinois and Oregon? You might remember the massive freakout back in 2015 during the Obama administration when a joint military training event called Jade Helm had MAGA folks, who back then were the Tea Party folks, convinced that Texas was about to be invaded. Abbott himself got in on that one. Picture then for a moment what the reaction in modern MAGA Texas might be if a Democratic president had actually requested and actually been granted permission to mobilize National Guard troops from Oregon and Illinois and send them into the Lone Star State to further the agenda of that same Democratic president.
Nothing at all other than protecting and uplifting Trump and his wishes. That's it. That's it. Because Lord knows you would be perfectly fine with Illinois sending their National Guard into Texas. In fact, Governor Abbott, I believe it was you that tried to do a standoff when Biden sent people into Texas. That was you now, wasn't it? That was you. You wanted to do a standoff with Biden when he sent people into Texas, but you want to send your people into another state. What are you about, MAGA? Say it with me. Not a damn thing. Nothing. Nothing. Not a principle in sight. Huh? Principle like ideals. Matter of fact, you could go with a principal PAL too, because ain't nobody in charge.
This some more bullshit.
And that point is significant. There's nobody in charge, because if there was, you would think at the minimum, they would at least make sure that they have public support for all of the moves that they are making. Just making sure that all of these things are politically tenable. Nope. Not MAGA.
Yeah, it's a political loser, John. It's a political loser. Donald Trump may think it's a political winner, but it's a political loser. Oppose Trump deploying in a U.S. city, active duty U.S. military, 61%. The National Guard in particular, 58%. When you get 3 in 5 Americans agreeing on anything, you know if that is on the opposition side, it's a political loser. And among independents, who are, of course, that key block in the middle of the United States political electorate. We're talking about 2/3 of independents there and about who oppose the deployment of either active duty U.S. military or National Guard into U.S. cities.
What are the questions that people are asking, or what are the issues they see with these deployments?
Okay, look, I think it's that they don't buy Donald Trump's case for why these troops must go into the U.S. cities. So the New York Times essentially gave you a two-pronged little answer here, right? Trump may use the National Guard to intimidate rivals, or big city crime will spiral out of control if the troops don't go into cities. What you see here is the majority that takes the case is that Trump may use the National Guard to intimidate political rivals at 51%. Just 42% of Americans agree with the Donald Trump stance that, in fact, big city crime will spiral out of control if the National Guard doesn't go into U.S. cities. So essentially what we're seeing here is Donald Trump's making a case, the Democratic opposition's making another case, and the Democratic opposition's case is winning here, and that is a big reason why what you see is you get about 3 in 5 Americans saying they don't want troops going into U.S. cities.
You have another really interesting way at looking at this. President Trump seems uniquely focused on Portland, on Memphis, on these cities and crime there. What do voters think he should be focused on?
Okay, so if you saw the opening slide on this segment, right, it was, has Trump taken his eye off the ball? The American people believe, yes, John Berman, Donald Trump has taken his eye off the ball. There is too much focus on putting troops into U.S. cities. 52%, the majority of Americans agree that the Trump admin is focusing too much on that. Where do they want him to go? They want him to focus on lowering prices. 75% say there's too little focus on lowering prices.
So if you're scoring from home, we have a president turning the Navy's 250th celebration into a rally while he talks about having to get rid of the NAT, that is the Democrats, expressing that they are the ones responsible for the loss of jobs, while he changed the subject to the Walk of Fame and sends troops into both Oregon and to Illinois from southern states. And got Civil War trending on X, all of which is wildly unpopular. This is going to be the hardest chapter of AP history. Hell, forget AP history. I'm trying to survive AP current. I need AP daily is hard enough. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. You know what? September was a month to remember. The highest views we've seen all year. I know. September. Do you remember when it first started? September. Huh? Do I know the lyrics? I don't even think they know the lyrics. Wrong. And they told me September was a low month for YouTube. You know, kids are going back to school, parents are getting back into the swing of work. Not on my channel. It's for that reason I'm always going to remember September. Huh. My anniversary was in September? It was, wasn't it? I'm gonna have to get rid of this section. As I was saying, September, what a beautiful time for love. It's also a beautiful time for merch, for that special someone in your life. I have seen your questions about the merch link, and it is up at reesewaters.com. However, we are undergoing some changes as we're in the process of getting it linked directly to the YouTube. So pretty soon you'll be able to see the merch right there on my page. So be on the lookout for that. And while we're talking merch, I want to send a shout out to Tracy, who sent us this dope photo and her discouraged, depleted, but never defeated t-shirt. And I also want to give a quick shout out and a happy birthday to Melva and to her daughter, as well as my man Dwight and Daryl over at the barbershop. And yeah, you can tell I just came from the barbershop because I'm shooting during the daytime. Yeah, I want you to see that Just all the crisp I want you to see, because when I get fuzzy, I start shooting at night. And then once I pass 2 weeks, I just become a faceless channel.
Interesting.